Welcome back to Ocean Leisure, and every Sunday for the month of September, I will be doing a new series called Parks and Transit, where I'll be covering the goods and the bads with theme parks and their connections to mass transit. And today, I'll be focusing on a top 12 list, more or less, as you'll see coming up, about parks in the U.S. that have good transit. There's going to be a top 10 of North America, but I found so many good examples I think they deserve to be shared. Further ado, starting off the list, number 12 is one of our pairs in this list, which is the Mall of America and Valley Fair out in Minneapolis-St under the MVTA. There's a limit up between the two, but the Mall of America is connected to the Blue Line, and many bus routes go there. It kind of extends me the largest mall in all of North America. Apparently, passes by that really do much there, so it doesn't work how I want to, so I can't put it onto the improved list. One side note is that Valley Fair is like 15 minutes down the road from a Renaissance Fair, which is kind of shocking because most I find like 35 to. Coming right up is the Mall of America's sister park, Nickelodeon Universe, in the Mall of America, just outside of New York, which is served by NJT, New Jersey Transit. So the ill-fated American Dream Mall, being outside New York in a sports complex, will they have good train? There is a train station there, but it looks like run on sporting events, and unless you want to Uber from New York Penn, you're stuck with the Bergan line and the 76 bus, which is an hour to go, a very little distance. And apparently bus tickets are a mess if you watch Alex Davis' latest video. And all my shows I put on here was for Dollywood with Pigeon Forest Fun Time Trolleys. Run 15 minutes from 30 before park open until necessary. Just need a car just to get into town. So I'm like, why? So that's the problem I have. But most of that's because of the whole Smoky Mountains, and you can't really, not a good place to cross. But here we cross it, next state over, we have Kentucky Kingdom out in Louisville, part of the TARC service. And back in the day, Louisville was actually a rail hub, but now that old rail yard stores the buses. The lowest number in the system, goes to the airport. That takes you to the park. So if you want to do a 24 to 36 hour thing for the right price, and you can without, labor or something, knock yourself out. 2.5 miles to the parking lot from front gate. Number 9 is Wild Waves in the Washington State Fair in Fairway, Washington. It's sound coming in from the Seattle area and Pierce Transit from Tacoma. So coming from Tacoma sucks. Storage crews were roughly split half bus, half walk to front gate. And best case, I was going all out of Federal Transit Center and transferring to that bus. So if you're going to come to Seattle taking the Federal Transit bus, then you can go all the way down to the southern tip of their light rail line, and then you can bus there, and then it goes past the park. So kind of have to go like all the way around the park though, but looking to the times, it does run roughly hourly during the week. And on Saturdays, it starts a little later on Sundays, so it's not ready for opening, but it's similar criteria. But then again, while it's not a full day park, if you do the water park stuff, then it might be a full day. But half day park, half day fair, get the creds, get wasted, and get an Uber back to the hotel. There's also the S-Line from Tacoma, so I guess you can take that too for the state fair. Number 8 is Cows and Coasters at Phoenix, Arizona, whose service is the Valley Metro. That's true about the whole streetcar extension in the south, but this park is in the north of the Phoenix region. It has 2 loopers by Hopkins, who kind of existed. I don't really feel as liked or hated. It's kind of like a joke, I guess. They did weird stuff, and mostly known for their flume rides. Also going to the north of that streetcar line, you have to take the 90 into a mall diversion. The bus is not directly served to the park, and you get out at that first stop on the mall diversion, about 10 minutes from alighting at that first stop on the diversion to front gate. Bus runs every 30 minutes, which is passable for U.S. standards. There are better parks and better headways on this list. Number 7 is Six Flags Over Georgia on the edge of MARTA. The second Six Flags park in a chain is served by the seasonal 201, and that drives off 600 feet from front gate as the crow flies. When available, it runs at 40-minute headways from the Blue Line's terminus nearly 5 miles away, with only 15-minute headways at best on the Blue Line. There's a BP and a college across the street from the I-20 interchange. Cyclist Parkway isn't a stroll type thing, and there is a crosswalk from the hotel, so you could walk to the park whether or not you use transit to get there. On the other side of the city in Fayetteville, you have Fun Spot Atlanta. It's so close to a bus stop, but it's a 40-minute walk from the closest bus stop. So it'd be nice if MARTA could extend that a little bit, or maybe even add a rail connection to the Fayetteville area and then do shuttle all of that. I think this honorable mention is over to his older brother, over Texas, 4.37 miles as a crow flies from the DFW station. No park shuttle. I have the capacity for that. Also, you have an abandoned gas station on the park site. Oh, didn't know that. A spot there. Yeah, there's a legit creek running through there. But if they put the bus there, it's less than 1,000 feet to security, which makes it sound good. For now, have a Six Flags Day, Funtown Splashdown, and Palace Planet in Maine. Shocking these two parks in Maine made the list, because that region of Saco Old Branch, nearby Biddeford, have their own bus system, and it's served by the Amtrak Downeaster. Yep, that's better connected than Six Flags New England, Lake Compounds, and Canby Lake. Even though Six Flags is close to the Springfield station, Lake Compounds could do something from Dunbury and Meriden. Canby Lake is kind of close to Lowell, and there's track there, but doesn't cross the border. You're so close. Right now, you still have to cross from Boston South to Boston North, usually from the Orange Line at Back Bay, in order to connect Northeast Corridor services to the Downeaster. Palace Planet is just a walk away from that station, and to get a final splashdown is the 53 bus, with two diversions heading up there with an amphitheater and residential area round trip. You know, that is, hotels are right by the right of way. So, number 5 is the Old Home Park, served by SEPTA, Smithleys in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Being a kiddie park and being on the complete other side of the city and network, it's not really worth taking the train up there. Like 40 minutes or so. In this to 30th Street, it's like another 60 back out from there. But from there, you do have two bus routes that meet at the park, which are the 14 and 127. The 14 comes from the Langhorne station, although Woodburn is physically closer. The 127 from Levittown. As an employee benefit, especially since it has more of a water park draw. Come on, you could just bring a towel, change your clothes. They have lockers there for that. At midday during the week, the 14 runs 15 to 30 minutes on a very weird schedule. The 127 is even less frequent, with the Trent Regional Rail Line roughly every hour off-peak from Trenton, DC, with Western run every hour at quarter after from 30th Street. Going back to the other end of the state, we have Kennywood and Fort Mifflin outside of Pittsburgh. It's called the Port Authority Transit, but now it's just called the PRT. And Swansea is the bus you just get there. But isn't directly me a Union? But it's close. If you take the middle of the night trains from Ohio, probably be in around 5 or 6. Regular's opening about 15-minute walk away at 8 to snooze the peel and layover and head out when they begin boarding, I guess. 23rd headways all day, pretty good. If you come the other way from DC, you're probably lucky to get off the train before midnight. Pennsylvania is more reasonable, a PM-ish arrival, but both are dawn departures to the south and east. Maybe if routes will change, so maybe there'll be more daytime routes, but the PM-ish, getting there, you just go straight to the hotel nearby, spend the night, take the bus back down there. I think it's interesting from that hotel, but number 3 is Eilish Gardens and Lakeside is like the final duo on this list. And the Denver area is served by the RTD, already moved once its life, but its current location is served by the E Streetcar and W Regional Rail Lines, and is across from the home of the Nuggets NBA, Avalanche NHL, and Mammoth Lax. C also uses these tracks but does not stop. A pedestrian bridge links both. Now this might be one of the worst parks making this list, and maybe a move is in order. There is a lot of protected land and farmland around, so maybe the Lonely Tree City should be the dumpster fire's new home. I first heard about it on Dr. Jeff Rocky Mountain Vet. It's served by the 44 from Union and 51 by the G line from 60th and Sheridan, or W from Sheridan. If you just want to stay up there, Comfort Inn on the 30-31 can take you from Decatur Federal to W if you want to do a fly-in and spend the weekend there, 3-day weekend, do the parks and get your autograph with the Rocky Mountain Vet. Number 4, I go to the top 2. I was going to do a feature mention for what I think will be number 1 in a few years, and that is the Universal Orlando Resort, served by Central Florida Regional Transit, also known as Lynx, and in 2026 will have a Bright Line service on its property. Actually, on the Expo Center property. but it also does have its own resort shuttles and ferries. 5 bus lines serve this. I'm going to get a photo of the whole network over there. So, purple lines, 30 minutes or less, orange hourly, and blue or less often. That probably is going to be right by Epic Universe. I think that's why I was thinking to be the Expo Center as well. But it's like right there, very, very close by. And I feel Disney has severed their ties with the outside world. There's a few links, connections. You don't have Magical Express anymore. The Brilliant is not going to be on property anymore. People complain about LA's lack of infrastructure in this area. So I am Butlershek, Disneyland, Knott's, and Universal, Hollywood. Imagine that's like an hour away, and that's like the sticks. Number 2 is California's Great America in Santa Clara, California, which is served by ACE. Well, that ACE is the Almond Corridor Express, the VTA, and Amtrak California. So another Doom park like English Gardens makes this list. Moving its former sister park of Astroworld, being pigeonholed by the NFL over parking and debt. Really parks in the whole country. It's served by the ACE Line 4 and many buses, with the Greens saving a bit of a walk for you as you still have to cross the Strode and the parking lot at front gate. 2 streetcar lines with special service for football games, as well as Amtrak service for longer distances such as Auburn, Sacramento. However, I feel rather than keeping New York City's Coney Island and Luna Park's Dino's Wonder Wheel off the list originally, come on, you have 3 airports, Grand Central and Penn Manhattan. The only thing is, that's a bit of a hike from Penn to your nonstop subway, and it's an hour. But I think it's more than worthwhile than the bus to the American Dream on the other side of the East Hudson and Hackensack Rivers. So since Great America is bye-bye and Brightline East is complete, I believe Universal will be a top 10 park in the world for transit. I think Disney and Universal parks in Asia and Paris would still dethrone Universal Escape. Be back next week as I cover North American parks that are close to achieving good transit. Some of you already heard on this list. But until then, comment, like, subscribe, strike the bell,